courses. You'll take courses that are in, say, history, all related to the liberal arts. And you don't think that necessarily those courses might help you be a good accountant or a good data analyst, but the fact is they actually do help you. You become a more well-rounded individual. And that's really what the accounting firms are looking for. They want someone who has the technical ability, but they've got a well-rounded viewpoint and can work well with clients just because of the fact that they have that well-rounded viewpoint. So what are some of the things that we're looking for to develop a student to become a good accountant? Well, besides being good technically, you don't have to have super math skills to be an accountant. If you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, you can be an accountant. I hope the alumni would agree with that. So the math isn't really that sophisticated, but you have to be a logical person, I think. You know, you have to be able to look at a situation and analyze it, identify the problems in the situation, and then come up with solutions. So that goes to analytical ability. And believe it or not, you'll get some of that skill training in these other courses that I was talking about, not just in your accounting curriculum. Most of our students will be going into careers in accounting, although some decide that they'll use something else that they've learned at Augustana with accounting as their back support to their education. So you'll learn technical skills, non-technical skills. You'll have to learn how to present to people. You're going to learn how to write well, communicate. So good communication skills, definitely important to someone who's going to go into accounting. And obviously, we want all of our students to be ethical decision makers and problem solvers. So ethics is a big part of our program. Oftentimes, you may not see that in a larger state institution. So who are our students? We do have a diverse set of students that come to Augustana. We have a very healthy proportion of international students that do accounting. At this point, I would say we're probably in the range of 20 to 25% of our accounting majors are international students, which is probably higher than most of the other majors on campus. And I think one of the reasons that's the case is because there's perceived to be good job opportunities in accounting. And I think that's still the case. There are some obstacles that international students have to overcome, regardless of whatever major that they pursue at Augustana, mainly because of the visa requirements in the United States. And I'm sure you've been informed of that, but as you might know, there are certain requirements that have to be met to be able to do an internship in the United States. And then once you graduate, there's time limitations on how long you can stay in the US without being sponsored or successfully obtaining a longer term work visa. But that's going to be the case no matter what major you pursue. The thing is, our accounting firms, several of them do sponsor students and are very open to hiring international students. So that's why I think we have probably a larger proportion of international students pursuing accounting and data analytics than many other majors at Augustana. Now, the question becomes, do you have to have had accounting before you start our program? And I would say roughly maybe 25% of our incoming students have had accounting in high school. Most have not. So it's not a limiting factor if you've not had any accounting background before you come to Augustana. It'll take you a little bit to catch up to the other ones if you haven't had it, but that's the majority of our students, right? So 75% have not had accounting. So it's not a prerequisite to succeed in our accounting program. Almost every accounting major double majors in something else. The most popular double majors include business administration and data analytics. Marty will talk more about, the benefits of having that double major specifically with data analytics. That's perceived to be a very positive thing to employers. If they can look at your resume and they see that you have more than one major, it means that you've been keeping yourself busy while you're at Augustana, but it is very doable. As I said, almost everybody at Augustana double majors, or if they don't major, double major, they would minor in something else. So that's even another possibility. We do have an accounting minor as well as an accounting major. The accounting minor is roughly half of the number of courses that you would have to take for the accounting major. So our faculty, our courses are primarily taught by full-time faculty. We do have some classes, primarily the introductory classes, that are taught by part-time faculty who also are working professionals. All of our faculty have had real-world experience before they started teaching. I myself worked in accounting and auditing for roughly 17 years before I started to teach. Marty continues to work outside of academia. All of our other professors either are currently working in industry as well as teaching on a part-time basis, or our other full-time faculty, they worked in industry or worked in public accounting before they started to teach. Why is that a big deal? Well, we bring real-world experience to the classroom. We have real-world connections. That's allowed us to expand our employer network because people know us. And that works to your benefit. Trust me. Every one of our faculty are invested in you succeeding in the classroom, but also getting employed. And I think that's a big deal. You don't see that at every academic institution. That's something we pride ourselves on at Augustana. In addition to teaching you, we're your advisors. So once you declare accounting or data analytics for your major, you'll be assigned to a faculty member as a full-time advisor to you. And the sooner you declare the major, the better. And because of that, as soon as you declare the major, you get on our radar screen when it comes to job opportunities. So in addition to us meeting with you frequently to discuss your academic progress and to discuss your career aspirations, that gives us more time to work with the employers to get you connected for job placement. One last comment would be all of our faculty that are full-time currently have been awarded this Outstanding Educator Award from the Illinois CPA Society, which means, you know, we've been recognized by our peers as having something special that's going on here at Augustana. So who are the firms that recruit? What areas are we primarily sending our students to? The majority of our students start out either in the Chicagoland area, the Quad Cities, or Central Illinois, because we're located in Illinois. However, we have alumni working all over the United States. For example, the three alumni who are going to be meeting with you a little bit later on, one is currently in California, one's in Chicago, one's in New York. So we've got all areas of the United States covered at least. We've had other great recent placements. You can see the list on the screen. I would like to add one more that you probably would pique your interest, and that would be Honolulu, Hawaii. So we've got students everywhere who've graduated from Augustana. And the reason that is because we have a very large employer network. Our alumni are fantastic. Our alumni give back to the college. Our alumni give back in the form of helping our students get jobs. And the three students that former students you're going to meet today, I'm going to be relying upon them to help some of you maybe get placed down the road in Chicago, New York, and California. But we've got alumni all over the U.S., and they're more than happy to help us make connections with their firms or other firms in the locations where they're located. So how do our students get this exposure to the employers? Well, we have a very large event we call Chicago Interview Day, which is actually in the Chicago suburbs. And we co-sponsor that event with Carthage College and North Central College. in order to that, so that we can provide enough students to make it worth the employer's time to come and visit with us. And so we, last year we had, I believe, 45, 46 accounting firms and finance institutions come to visit and interview our students. That's a big event, a very big event. So if you decide accounting is your thing, that's probably our biggest event during the year. If you think finance might be something you want to pursue, there's going to be several financial institutions at that fair. Our placement out of that is very good. Those events typically lead to interviews for internships. Internships then lead to full-time offers. So the career path in accounting is pretty straightforward. Get an internship, do a good job, they'll hire you. We also have other career events here in the Quad Cities. Usually there's one in the fall, one in the spring, and those are also co-hosted with the other colleges that are in the Quad City area. On top of that, some of the firms still come to campus and do individual campus interviews. We also do mock interviews on campus, which help you get prepared for these other interview opportunities. And those mock interviews are done with some of the biggest accounting firms around. So who are the firms that interview our students and hire our students? The Big Four, which some of you might be familiar with, have all hired our students. We've got accounting alumni working at all the Big Four across the United States. Two of the students you're going to be talking with, or former students will be talking with in a few minutes, they started out with Big Four accounting firms. One's still with a Big Four firm. One has moved on. We also have our students placed with most of the top 20 accounting firms in the Chicagoland area. Many of those accounting firms also have offices throughout the United States. We also have our students employed by large manufacturers such as John Deere, which is located here in the Quad Cities, Caterpillar, large industrial equipment company headquartered in Chicago, U.S. Foods, large food company, Fortune 500, H&I, Fortune 500. State Farm Insurance is located in Bloomington, Illinois. Aon Insurance, huge insurance company, located all over the place, but our main placements with Chicago. JLL is another example. They're a large real estate company with offices all over the United States and international. So our employer network is really outstanding, particularly for a small liberal arts college. And it's mainly because of our alumni. So our placement rate is pretty much 100%, which means by the time you graduate from Augustana, you'll have a full-time job already secured, or you'll be going to grad school. Most of our students do get full-time employment right away instead of going on to grad school. Some of our students do want to get that extra year of grad school, either master's in accounting, master's in business administration, but mainly master's in accounting. But that's a small number of students. And that's because we have other ways that students can get prepared for the CPA exam without having to go to grad school. So the vast majority of our students also complete internships. I would say that's on the order of like 90%. Some students get full-time offers without even doing an internship. It just kind of depends on your situation. We work with the Career Development Office to do these recruiting events. They help us with job placement. There's a terrific tool, job placement tool called Handshake that students have access to, where there's jobs posted on Handshake all the time. Many of the firms that we recruit with, they also post jobs on Handshake. So you can access that anywhere, anytime. So with regard to internship preparation activities, the mock interviews are a fantastic way for you to get prepared to do an interview for real with these firms. We work with the Career Development Office to do mock interviews. We bring the firms in that actually will be hiring students in the future. They come in and help us do the mock interviews. We've actually had situations where the accounting firm liked the students so well during the mock interview that they made them offer right there, even though it was just supposed to be a practice interview. They didn't want that student to get on the market before they had a chance to make them an offer. So some of our students have actually procured internships, even though it was just a mock interview. But there's other ways that we help you prepare. The main way that you prepare for an internship is do well in your classes and get better prepared to communicate with clients through the other courses that you take here at Augustana, in addition to doing well in your accounting and data analytics classes. Salaries are very competitive. I'll just throw out a number for Chicago. Let's say right now our accounting students are starting out at roughly about $75,000 in the Chicagoland area. If they pass the CPA exam within the first year, they get a $5,000 bonus. But what I always like to tell students is that you don't want to just look at that entry level salary. Look at where you're going to be 3 to 5 years down the road. And within 3 years, particularly in Chicago, you're going to be making more than $100,000, which is a outstanding entry level early career salary. Very competitive salaries in accounting still. Data analytics, even more impressive. Now, with respect to becoming a CPA, most states require that you have 150 hours of college credit, which includes 30 hours of accounting and 24 hours of business. Okay, so if you come to Augustana, you will have 32 hours of accounting if you do the accounting major. If you double major in business, you'll easily have more than 24 hours of the business requirement. We have students who do other majors like data analytics instead of business. Data analytics counts as a business course. So if you complete the accounting and data analytics double major, they'll have the 24 hours required for business. If you don't do accounting with business administration or accounting with data analytics, we'll have to take a look at what your other courses are and what availability you have to get the other 24 hours of business. But that's the beauty of working with a faculty member for advising, because we'll help you find the path to get the 150, including the 30 hours of accounting and the 24 hours of business. Okay, so what are the other ways that our students get the hours for accounting besides being here at Augustana? If you come to Augustana, you'll get 136 hours of credit if you took every course you could take. That means you'd be 14 hours short. We've listed here the other ways that our students get the other hours to take the CPA exam. If you take courses that can be transferred in to Augustana from high school, being if it was an AP course, a dual credit course, those would count towards the 150. Graduate school obviously would be an extra probably 30 hours at least that you'll get towards that 150. But most of our students will do either junior college classes during the summer to get the extra hours because it's more cost effective, or a program we call the extended learning program. So our extended learning program, you're able to purchase additional credits at a steeply discounted rate. It's like a 90% discount off of what you would normally have to pay for an overload charge. And so you can get 4 hours a year extra through the program if you want to take courses, or you can get up to 12 hours of credit over 2 years for internships. So you would do 6 hours of internship 1 year, 6 hours of internship another year. So there's 12 hours of credit that you can get while you're doing an internship. That counts towards the 150-hour requirement. So if you want to take the CPA exam, there's lots of paths you can take in order to get that 150, and we can help you find it. So at this point, I guess I'll turn it over to Marty.
Yeah, actually,
to talk about data.
Sorry to interrupt, but Jessica Zhao actually has to leave in a few minutes, but we'd love to hear from her a little bit before she has to go. If she wants to present herself really quickly. I know, sorry to interrupt, a little out of order, but I think we'll get a really good insight on her position now. So Jessica, if you could just introduce yourself really quickly.
Hey everyone, sorry I have 1 minute before early meeting, but for anyone that I haven't met here, I'm Jessica Zhou. I graduated in 2016 and majored in accounting. I would like to echo everything that Dr. Delaney just described because I personally really benefited from all of the programs, all of the support that faculty has provided to us, and also all the classmates, and then helped me along the way. So a little bit about myself. After graduated from Augie, I started working at PwC Audit for 3 years. And now I'm a director of deal advisory in KPMG Chicago, and I work specifically for a financial due diligence group. Sorry, is there anything else I need to say? Trying to see.
Do you have any like a really quick advice for like the students in here?
Yeah, I would definitely say keep an open mind, and then leverage and take advantage of all the resources you have while on campus. And for me, the reason why I launched my PwC internship was because I got the link from Dr. Delaney introducing that there's an opening, and I applied for it. And then I practiced every single day on my interview script and tried all the mock interviews and had hundreds of people looking at my resume and trying to refresh it as much as I can, so that when the interview comes, I was able to demonstrate myself and then present my best self in order to launch that. But besides that, all of the campus activities and all of the internship prior to the PwC internship helped me to get to the interview process. I utilized my Augie choice while in Sydney, Australia, to get a real hands-on experience. And I was also very involved on campus. So I would just encourage that everyone to take the opportunity and do anything that you like to try, and then think about where you want to be after you graduate and just go for it. Thank you so much. Really sorry I have to go, but if you guys have any questions or need me for anything, feel free to reach out offline, and happy to connect.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
Yep, bye.
Awesome. Okay, now Marty, if you'd like to continue the presentation.
Of course. Hopefully you can all hear me and see the screen that I'm displaying again. Well, welcome everybody, and we're so happy to have the opportunity to talk to you a little bit today about our accounting and data analytics program. You might be wondering why we do this together. One reason we do this together is there is a tremendous amount of overlap between our approach to the accounting program and the data analytics program. As a matter of fact, if I were to open that door right behind me, you would see Dr. Delaney. We're in the same suite. We work together. We're kindred spirits. We have a lot of similar philosophies regarding the business and professional education model. And so I would like to start by saying, other than the fact that Dr. Delaney talked about the accounting major, and I'm going to talk about the data analytics major, all the other things are the same. Our approach to caring about you as a student, our approach to helping you get jobs, our focus on career preparation, all of that stuff is the same in the data analytics space. So what I thought I might do here is talk a little bit about aspects of data analytics that would be different than the accounting program. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about our program characteristics and then our two majors. We do have a minor as well, a minor in data analytics, but I thought today I would focus more on our major. And because some students might be less familiar with what a data analytics major looks like, I'm going to actually talk a little bit about actually what some of the courses are in that program. So, you know, we have a program here because it's a great career path. I came here in 2019 to stand up the data analytics program because a local company called John Deere said, why don't you have one? That's where all the jobs are. And so John Deere donated a lot of money to Augustana College to stand up a program. And they did that in large part because most jobs in industry, and this would be true in accounting, involve some level of data analytics today. Maybe some of our students can talk about that when they share their comments with students. So when we built this program, we decided to take advantage of who we are at Augustana and make it a multidisciplinary program. So like Dr. Delaney said, we want to consider the fact that we're at a liberal arts college to be a benefit and to build a program that allows us to draw upon all those other majors and build some of those soft skills that Dr. Delaney talked about. And as Dr. Delaney indicated, we assume students are going to double major. At Augustana, the way our program of study is set up is about 1/3 of your program or time at Augustana will be spent working on general education. We call those perspectives here at Augustana. About 1/3 will be spent working on one major, and then another third of your time will be working on a second major. Now, we do have some students who triple major and have minors and so forth, but the reality is we build our program of study here assuming students are going to double major. One thing that has been attractive to our international students is that this is a STEM major. John talked about how many of the accounting majors are international. That number is even more significant in data. 62% of our students in the data analytics programs are international students. And I'm not naive to the fact that a large reason is because it's a STEM major. And because it's a STEM major, you're able to work in the United States, if that's your desire, for 3 years instead of 1. Evan and others can talk to you more about OPT and some of those mechanical aspects of that. But the fact that we're a STEM major here does allow you to have a little bit more time to stay in the United States and gain some additional work experience. I'll come back to the STEM major here in a couple of minutes. So again, because not all students know what data analytics looks like, I thought I would tell you a little bit about that. So data analytics has 2 fundamental paths at Augustana College. The first path, and the path that is most common, so about currently 75% of our majors. So we currently have about 100 and some odd majors right now, and about 75% of those students are majoring in business analytics. And many of those students are also taking accounting or business administration. So what would you study if you were going down the business analytics path? Well, you would take courses that would help you apply business analytics. That's where the greatest demand is in the workforce, being able to apply business analytics topics in your jobs. Again, maybe some of our students can talk about ways they've had to apply analytics, whether they were a business analytics major or not. And so the way we help you learn those applied analytics skills is we have an introductory course in data analytics. And in that class, you become proficient with Microsoft Excel and you learn the basics of data analytics. And then you take an introduction to computer science. In that class, you learn Python computer coding. And then you learn statistics. Most of our students take business statistics, but in our business analytics path, we actually allow you to take statistics in other departments like psychology and math and so forth. And then we really want our students to, in advance of facing an ethical dilemma, know where their line in the sand is. A lot of times when you study fraud or you study bad things that have happened in the business space and you really look at the root cause, it was because the bad actor, the person who did the bad thing, in advance did not know where their line in the sand was. They didn't know what their answer would be if they were asked to do something wrong. And so we require students to think about ethical theory here at Augustana, not because we want to preach to you about what your moral philosophy should be or what your personal position should be, but we want you to have an opportunity to develop your own moral compass while you're here at Augustana. So we require you to take a course in ethics. We allow you to take that course in a number of different disciplines. Most of our students take it in business. And by the way, if you're an accounting student, that all these courses would also count for the ethics requirement if you took the CPA exam in the state of Illinois in the US. And then a lot of the jobs in business analytics revolve around mining information from large data sets. So for example, interrogating and analyzing data from a company's website to determine what goods and services to put into the marketplace. And so we have a course that helps you do that. It's referred to in our program as data mining. And then we have two other courses before I talk about the senior inquiry that are really focused on data engineering, helping you understand the data that you're going to analyze. That's Data 331. And in Data 331, you'll learn SQL, which is a database inquiry tool that is very commonly used in business analytics. And then in Data 332, you'll continue to explore the business systems that you will use, and then you'll expand your skill set to include R. This is an open source statistics package, and that helps you conceptualize the data model and understand how to focus on the data and get that data ready. And then the part of our program that I'm the proudest of is the application of experiential learning. In every one of our courses, you will work on projects, and you will conclude your program of study at Augustana with a senior inquiry course where you'll work on a real project for a real company. So for example, right now we have 30 seniors taking Data 490, and they're working on real projects for real clients that will result in a decision being made. So for example, three of our, about half of our students are currently working on real estate analytics, and by May, they're going to be making a proposal to their investment client, and that client's going to spend more than $1 million investing in real estate in the state of Texas based on the result of this analysis. So those data internships that you'll have an opportunity to take that can count as a senior inquiry course, or those senior inquiry courses that you take, will be the most likely way to get a job. Last year, we had 30 students in Data 490. All 30 got job offers from their senior inquiry project. Not a bad return on a senior inquiry class. And so that is our applied path. Again, the vast majority of our students choose this path. It goes very well with accounting. It's the perfect double major. It's the best way to get a job. I guarantee you, it's the best way to get a job is to double major in accounting and business analytics if you're an international student. Now, we have another path here at Augustana College, and this refers to what I like to call the architecture of data analytics, and it's called the data science path. And this path is really designed for those students who are interested in artificial intelligence. So for example, if you were to say, hey, Google, what's the weather forecast going to be? When I said that today it said it's going to be in the 30s. A couple of days ago, it said it's in the 60s. Weird, huh? But those are Fahrenheit temperatures. But the idea here is that in order for that device to work, it requires artificial intelligence. And some of you maybe have heard of probably the hottest topic today, and that is ChatGPT and similar devices that have been rolled out as part of critical business processes. Those hot topics today require data analytics skills, specifically data science. And so we have a path at Augustana that will prepare you for that. In addition to the Data 490 course and the Computer Science 201 course and the Ethics course and the Senior Inquiry course, it focuses on math. So where, unlike in accounting where you only need to have basic math, you need to have high octane math in this path. You're going to be taking some of our most difficult math courses at Augustana College in this path. And what you're really going to do is learn the statistical theory that is used in machine learning to create artificial intelligence. Most of our students who are on this path are double majoring in math and computer science. There's a lot of overlap between our math courses and our computer science courses. We currently have one student, I think, who's double majoring in data science and accounting, but that's kind of the minority in our accounting double major. Dr. Delaney started out by talking about the role of liberal arts. We embrace that. We think it gives you competitive advantage. Both John and I are products of a liberal arts education. And I hope I can speak for you, John, and say that we believe it gave us competitive advantage throughout our entire career. And I thought I would share just a little bit of my background with you here to kind of show you how that worked. So I graduated from a liberal arts college with a bachelor's degree in accounting. That bachelor's degree in accounting allowed me to get a job. It allowed me to get a job. If it wouldn't have been for that, my first job was working for a subsidiary of Dow Chemical here in the United States. And had it not been for that job, I wouldn't have got, for my accounting degree, I wouldn't have got that job. I did decide to pursue additional education. I got a master's degree at a liberal arts college, and I gained some additional credentials. I happen to be a certified public accountant, and I have a couple other credentials as well. And I have to admit, those credentials that I earned, like the CPA, they helped me progress in my accounting career. I probably would have become an accounting supervisor or a controller or a director with those particular skills. But you know what? I retired as a chief financial officer of a utility company. And the reason I got that job was in part because of my technical skills in accounting. But I believe with all my heart that it's my liberal arts background that gave me a more worldly view and a broader view of the skill sets that allowed me to get those additional jobs. I currently am the president of a company that serves Fortune 12 companies. Yes, Fortune 12 companies in the world. And I am totally convinced that the reason people like Warren Buffett hear what I have to say is not only because of my technical skills, but because I have a worldly view. And that all started with my academic perspective. And so when we build our program here at Augustana in data, we wanted to keep that liberal arts feel. And when we started our program, we were one of 10% of liberal arts schools in the country who had data analytics. We're not currently that number because guess what? A lot of schools have copied our model. Many schools now, 5 years later, have copied our model, and they're doing what we've done. But because of that, we can honestly tell you that a liberal arts program and a STEM major go hand in hand. And if you're interested in research, the research actually really does a nice job of supporting the fact that STEM professionals definitely can capitalize on their liberal arts background and succeed quite well. So I did want to leave time for our students, who are awesome, by the way, to talk to, or I should say our former students. I guess you'll always be former students, but John and I will call you students because you're still students in our mind. But we want to give you time to hear from our former students, and then John and I will be available to follow up with you. And so, Evan, can I turn it over to you for Q&A and former student comments?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to ask all of the alumni, if you could, turn on your screens too, just so we know who you guys are and make sure we're not leaving anyone out. First question that I got in the chat that I think is pretty interesting. We talked a little bit about it, but not from a student perspective. Compared to other, leading universities that have great data analytics programs, what sets Augustana apart? Why Augustana? Why should I choose Augustana for studying accounting or data analytics? So I'm actually just going to pick somebody. Siena, you're the first on my screen, so I'm going to jump to you, and then if you guys want to go in whatever order, there you go. So
is the question why Augustana stand out for data analytics? I didn't major in data analytics, but I can think of some reasons. One of the point that stand out is probably that Augustana is a liberal art college. So if you go to like a larger universities and if you major in data analytics or data science, maybe like all you learn is data science related or data analytics related. But if you come to Augustana and you have the opportunity to major, like for example, have a double major, like you can major also in math, computer science, or even if you're interested in, for example, like English or kind of like the actual liberal arts major, you can also do so. So you actually are exposed to more classes and opportunities compared to larger universities. I think that's one of the things that you should consider and make Augustana stand out. Yeah. You're on mute.
would anyone else like to add to that, alumni?
Sure, I can add. First of all, hi, Dr. Delaney, Dr. Go, Dr. Pham. So I was in the first group that majored in data analytics when the major was introduced in 2019. I was a junior back then, and then I graduated in 2021. And I would say that majoring in data analytics along with accounting and management information systems was really helpful for me because all the companies that I applied to, they were really impressed with my background and with the majors that I did. And I feel like Augustana stands out in terms of data analytics because it's a liberal arts school and it's very flexible to mix and match minors. So I think it's a really good platform that students can utilize to do a bunch of majors, and definitely include data analytics as it gives a lot of knowledge and perspective about data. And it's like a growing aspect in the world right now, so definitely.
Also, I never said this, but alumni, if you could please introduce yourself, maybe where you're working now and all of that too. I never got to say that, sorry.
I can go ahead. I currently work at Goldman Sachs. I am in internal audit, and I've been working with the firm since I graduated. So it's been about 2.5 years. And yeah, it's been really good so far. I am located in Dallas.
Great, thank you. All right, who haven't we heard from? Ha? Would you like to share a little bit about your story and where you're at now?
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Evan. Hi, everyone. My name is Ha. I graduated in 2015. And since then, I've been working for PwC as an external auditor. I also worked as an internal auditor for about 2.5 years. Now I am a fixed asset manager at my current company, Packaging Corporation of America, and I'm located in the Chicago area. Just want to bounce off from what you're talking about, data analytics. I did not have data analytics as a major back in Augustana College, but I think back at that time we did not have it yet. Thanks to Professor Cole and Professor Delaney, now we have that. I just think now with the like current situation of everyone talking about data and what you can do with that, and being in the job market for a while, I can tell that people who have the data analytics background is very they have a lot of open option to them. Like, for example, they can do IT audit. They can also go and do a data scientist for any company, or financial analyst. So just having that on the background is very beneficial for recruiter and company. And this just the knowledge and how to deal with data is apparently now when you in the job market, it's hard to find time to learn new things. So you can learn it from school. Apparently, it's going to be very beneficial in the future. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Next question I see is talking more about internships and future job opportunities for accounting for data analytics. So I'm going to open it up to Lee. What were those types of experiences that got you into that first internship, into the first job?
Sure, yes. Hi, my name is Lee, and I graduated from Augustana back in 2012. I was an accounting and business double major. Data analytics wasn't an option at the time, but I'm so glad to see it being offered now. I had my first internship was at PwC in the Peoria office. I think it was winter of my senior year. And then, that led to a full-time offer, which I took after completing a master in accounting. So go back to the question is what helped me getting that internship, right? So first off, it was Professor Delaney was having, as he mentioned during his presentation, that he has so many connections and he was so willing to help me make those connections. At the time, it was a little more difficult for international students to get internships. At least for me, I think, just because at the time, Augustana didn't have that many international students. But he was so willing to go out of his way to help me make those connections at various different firms or companies, alumni, and that was super beneficial to my experience. In terms of going through what helped with the interviews, a lot of it had to do with my experience, echo it in a liberal arts education. You learn not just the technical side of accounting, but also you gain the soft skills, presentation skill, research skill, critical thinking through other classes within your program, but also through you're very encouraged to join different clubs and activities on campus. And I think being able to demonstrate that I was busy not just with classes and two majors, but also with other activities and leadership experience through those outside the class activity. That was I think that was something that an employer would look for. But and now too, in my through my experience interviewing students and interviewing candidates going into openings within my company, it is very important. And the higher up you or the more experience you go into the field, and I'm in accounting. I started out in audit and now I'm in more like a technical accounting role. The soft skill becomes even more important. Technical, you want to make sure that you have the technical skill, you can do the research, your debit and credit. But as you go higher up, it's more of how do you resolve conflicts? How do you communicate in an effective and efficient way to get your points across? And how do you network? How do you present yourself and make sure that your points are being taken, by the, and when do you compromise? How do you show that you can compromise? All of that is very important as you work in the field. Another part of, and now with data and analytics being an option, I would say that in accounting, the traditional accounting type role, is not, you come up with either an estimate, you work on, eventually what should be the numbers. And a lot of that had to do with data analytics too. Back in my day, we didn't have, didn't start out with that. So I had to use Excel. Now you're talking about hundreds of thousands, million rows of data and Excel freezes, right? So having the data analytical skill and the tools that being taught in school is very beneficial. I had to taught myself how to use those tools when I was working in the field. Now, it's very good that you can start out learning that in school, and at Harvard, it's easier to learn in school. So, all of that, I think, Augustana was really preparing me for being successful to get the first job, and also, later on in my career as well.
And just so the students, really understand, where are you currently working at? And can you tell us about your day-to-day now?
Oh, yeah. I am at NVIDIA. I've been there for about 5 years. I started out, so that was my job after PwC, which at the time I was doing audit. Now, from auditing, I went to NVIDIA working in financial reporting, and that means putting together the SEC filing, the annual report. I also did accounting for stock-based compensation, also forecasting, which is usually more an FP&A role, but at NVIDIA at the time, that's how it was structured. So that's where I used needed a lot of data analytical skill, because I wasn't just doing the accounting, but also analyzing the data and presenting those data and what the insight from those data to upper management. After that, recently I switched to a more technical accounting role focusing on revenue. So now I'm reviewing contracts that we have with our customers, how those contracts are structured, what is the accounting implication of those contracts. And it's very interesting, because it's a technology company. So a lot of the time, you're reading about the different technology options that we offer. And it comes down to your reading skill, comprehension, how you learn new language. And when I wasn't really I didn't have a technology background. Another part of that is also writing skills, important. I learned that in college, right, through other courses, but also now I use it to write accounting memos and editing contracts. So a lot of the liberal arts skills that you learn through other courses do come back later on in various different aspects of the job.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. I understand that John Delaney has to leave here shortly. I would love to hear any last minute remarks for our students after you.
Sure, Evan. Thanks for the opportunity. I just wanted to thank all the students and parents for attending today. I just put a note in the chat that, the alumni, they're providing fantastic advice to you all. They're the best representatives of our institution. They really do exemplify everything we want to have our students accomplish, both in the classroom and when they get out of Augustana and move on to their professional careers. We're just so proud of all of them. And we look forward to working with all of you who decide to come to Augustana. We'll get to know you very well. We're going to be your biggest cheerleaders, and we'll do everything we can to help you proceed on to getting your career started on the right foot. So just wanted to thank you all. I apologize. I need to go to another meeting here in about 5 minutes. So thank you again, and hope you all have a great day beyond after this presentation is over with.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor. Awesome. Right now, I think we have a couple alumni that haven't spoken. I would love to pick on you guys, really just share your story. Tell us a little bit about where you're at now and how Augustana got you there. So me or Thao, would you guys like to share?
I can go first. So my name is Thao. I'm currently working as a senior in the audit and assurance team at Deloitte, and I'm still local in the Quad Cities area. It's my 5th year with the firm. So my story is a pretty straightforward story. I didn't have any internship with Deloitte in the US before I started, but I did have an internship with Deloitte back home in Vietnam, I think my junior year. And once I come back to the US, I just go through the regular application process where you go to Handshake, put in your application, they do the campus recruitment event, and you get through each round of the interview. But I do think that my internship back home in Vietnam have somehow more or less impact on the interview, since they're always interested in seeing if you have any experience in that field, especially if you have experience with the firm, no matter where it is. So that's a perk of working at a bigger global firm, is that they have offices everywhere. So they always care if, you know, you get experience with 1 or 2 of that in the past. Also, Handshake would be a good tool to check often too, because back in the days, there are not a lot of information on, you know, how to do networking on LinkedIn and a lot of those social events. So you either have to venture out yourself, or you kind of rely on the school to direct you to Handshake, or, you know, any personal connection that the professors have. Compared to now, you can just go on LinkedIn and there will be a lot of posts from different recruiters. So Handshake is one thing that easily get overlooked, just because you would think, oh, we have to go out to LinkedIn, find people, or go to the larger career fairs. But that check on Handshake has actually got me lucky, and how I found that posting for the job. So one thing I would say is, if you're in college and you know, just utilize your resources to the best of its ability. Sometimes, even if something is really small and you think it might not be effective, there will be some useful information out there that could benefit you. So that's just a little background how I got into Deloitte. But then over how Augustana has helped shape me into who I am and how it has helped me advance in my career, kind of trace back to all of the accounting classes and all of the support that Dr. Delaney and the accounting department has equipped me with. And I know when I graduated, Dr. Go, I don't think data analytics has been a major yet. I would have loved to take that up, but it was not there yet when I graduated. But I do think the perk is, even before data analytics existed as a major, they taught you to have that mindset on how important data analytic is. So without the classes, without, you know, an actual syllabus or a program track, they still taught you things like how to analyze data in Excel, how to approach data with a very analytical mindset. And it's restricted to the context of accounting, but still it's all transferable skills. I feel like if you go to the workplace and apply to different areas. So that's one thing I wanted to echo, is that they don't just teach you textbooks. They actually want you to have the right mindset going into the workplace. And that's one thing that I really appreciate, because it really put us far ahead compared to maybe other peers in the same class who came from programs that doesn't focus as heavily on, you know, improving your mindset and putting you out there, getting you that exposure to both numbers and the data side of things. So that's my little story on how I get here and how I'm doing thanks to Augie. So.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. And our last alum, could you please introduce yourself, tell us about your experience and how you're doing today?
Hi everyone, good to see you again. My name is Mi. I kind of took a longer route compared to everyone else. I graduated from Augie in 2018. I was a double major in accounting and finance with a minor in econ. Back then, data analytics wasn't a major at Augie yet, so I wanted to pursue analytics as a career at the time, and I also wanted to continue taking my CPA. So I moved to Texas to take a double master's in accounting and analytics. So after I graduated, I worked as a data engineer for 2 years, and then I moved on to being a data analyst at the Dallas County Hospital. So that's where I'm at right now. I would say one thing that Augie really helped me was the networking skills and the resume prep. Because when I moved down here as a master's student, I wanted to get my internship when I was a student too. And the resume and all the networking skills that I got from Augie really helped me stand out from other students. And I got my first internship as a financial analyst at a financial consulting firm. So from there right now, I'm still working on my getting my CPA, but I can tell you that all the skills that I got from Augie, and I know Dr. Delaney really advocates people skills, networking. So so thanks to that, I'm still leveraging those skills. I can talk more about that. We don't have time, but that's a quick summary about me.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. We're coming to the end of our presentation today. Right now, I'm going to open it up for any last-minute questions. Once again, I remind students, these are professionals in the field, current workers in accounting and data analytics, as well as we have Professor Marty here with us. So right now, please ask those questions. We're going to leave it open in the chat if you have any more questions. You can unmute your mic if you feel like you want to speak. We'll ask any questions. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to pursue in STEM related career. Should I apply for a 3+2 program so that in years 3 liberal arts and 2 years in an established tech school? Or okay, so this is about 3+2 programs and why Augustana, why choosing Augustana. I'm going to open this one up to Marty Ko. If you have some input on this particular question.
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, I'll give it a shot here and try to answer this question. So the question that I'm reading is that wondering a little bit about a 3+2 program, so 3 years in liberal arts and 2 years in a established tech school. That certainly is a good model. For Augustana College, we're not really geared up for you to do a 3+2 very well. We're more geared up for you to finish your 4 years at Augustana and then move on to a graduate program. So I can talk a little bit more about that. So the students who we have that come to Augustana to get the liberal arts school and their initial introduction to the technical field, and then move on to a graduate program, we do have those. I can think of 4 students right now who have graduated in the last 2 years that have gone on to schools like Northwestern, Ohio State, Wake Forest, and they wanted that same experience that you described in a 3+2, but they actually did it in a 4+1. Still adds up to 5, but basically they were able to complete a master's degree in 1 year because they had the necessary background going in. But a more typical model is to do a 4+2 and then get paid to do your last 2. And that's what I would encourage you to think about is come to a school like Augustana College, get that, become grounded in the liberal arts education model and gain your initial introduction to technical skills. But then when you go to your graduate program, you'll be a good candidate for fellowships. So for example, 2 of the students that I just mentioned, they're getting paid $18,000 a year to go to school. Not a bad deal, right? So they're getting paid $18,000 plus all their tuition is paid, and they're going to come out with a master's degree at a high quality school, which is pretty much going to guarantee them, well, maybe not guarantee, but give them a very high probability that they'll have a job offer. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I think it does. Awesome. Well, guys, I think this pretty much wraps up today's presentation. I want to give a big thanks to everyone that could make this possible today. Thank you, Professor Trong. Thank you, Marty Ko. Thank you, Delaney. All of the alumni, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to be here with these prospective students. We really appreciate it. Right now, students, if you have any admission-based questions, I'm going to leave my email in the chat function right now. So all admission application questions can be directed to my office. Okay, so I'm just going to drop that. Professor Trong, do you have something you would love to add?
I'm so sorry, I have a sore throat today. But yeah, I know that accounting and data analytics have been doing an amazing job to prepare students for the job market. I have as a finance professor, so I would really wanted to prepare our finance students for the job market as well. And then one of the things that I have been doing is I'm trying to propose to the business department to allow me to teach finance courses immediately from the first year. Student would not have to wait until the third year to take finance classes. And the fact that Siena and Akankshya made it to the top investment bank and then top investment and technology firm are incredible to me. I would like to hear from them, if they have any advice about how to prepare finance students for the job market. So here, finance professors in the business department or the whole business department would really try to improve the program to help finance students as well. So this is the question for Siena and Akankshya, please.
Sure, I can talk about it first. So just briefly talk about my experience. I graduated in 2018, and then I went to Wake Forest for accounting master directly after I graduated from Augustana. At Wake Forest, I was able to get internship at Deloitte for an audit position. So right after I graduated from master's school, I worked at Deloitte as an auditor for like 2.5 years. And I got my CPA while I was at Wake Forest. And I think first, a CPA and the experience at one of the big four provided me the opportunity to get an interview at D.E.Shaw, which is my current company. And at the time, because I didn't really want to work for a real technical accounting position, so I was looking for something like FP&A role, which is working on projecting the expense and P&L for the company for the next couple of years. And at that time, I also think about pursue a career in Jessica's position, which is financial due diligence. I think both of those type of position requires prior experience at Big Four. So if you can start with Big Four, that would be a great opportunity to pursue other kind of tracks in finance and accounting. And also my other advice is that if you really want to pursue an finance career, I find out that a lot of position requires math major. So if you can, have double major in finance, accounting, and math, or stats, that would be really, really helpful in the future when you want to look for other opportunities, because that's kind of a requirement for a lot of finance roles. For example, if you want to shift your career to be as a trader or any kind of other position in Big Four in advisory, for example, valuations or any other finance related roles, math is really important. Yeah, that's all.
From my experience, I got a job at Goldman Sachs straight after graduation in 2021. And I think I got the job because of my prior internship experiences. So when I was in Augustana, I did 2 internships for accounting. And I started applying end of sophomore year. So I think that really helped. Starting out early, researching companies and networking with networking with employers who you want to work for and just build those connections. So LinkedIn and Handshake helped me a lot in terms of that. Just going to career fairs helped me a lot, and just starting out early helped me. And same as Siena, I just joined Goldman Sachs because I had prior tax experience and I had prior tax internship. But then eventually I made my way and transferred into internal audit. So once you do join a company, you can be flexible and you can move around to different job positions as well. So yeah, I think it's helpful to definitely start out early in terms of applying to internships. And same for finance majors as well.
I just want to add something. So another really important part is to be fully prepared for all the interviews. I find out like whenever like you get an opportunity to have the interview, like you're gonna make sure you are like 100% fully prepared. You should understand like what potential question they might ask, and then do like multiple mock exams and kind of like have like a lot of stories to be prepared whenever they ask a question. Make sure you can find out one of the story to be included in the answer. So that's super important. Yeah.
Evan, sorry for interrupting real quick. There was a question about the difference between data analytics and data science earlier. I can answer that real quick. Data science has more math focused courses compared to data analytics. If you do want to pursue something a little more technical, a little more math focused, then data science will be a better choice. Analytics will be enough already for those who are not too focused on math. And Professor Ko, I think you can add to that.
No, I agree. You did a wonderful job explaining that. Maybe you should come here and teach for us. And sorry we didn't have our full program for you. I saw there was a little bit of a conversation in the chat about the 150 hours on the CPA exam. I'll just briefly talk about that. So in the United States, you can actually take the CPA exam in most jurisdictions with 120 hours. And then in order to get your license to practice public accounting, you need to have 150 hours. That's the most common situation. So depending on your personal situation, it might be that you can take the exam with less than 150 hours. There is a little caveat, though, that exists that causes us to usually recommend that you get 150 hours because, for example, the state of Illinois requires you to have 150 hours when you take the CPA exam. So even if you took it when you had less than 150 and passed it, you wouldn't meet the education requirement in the state of Illinois. So not every state is like that. So we usually recommend that you err on the side of caution and try to have 150 hours of credit before you take the exam. But in the spirit of full disclosure, the vast majority of jurisdictions do allow you to take the exam with 120 hours.
And maybe I would just add a little bit to that from a CPA exam perspective. I took my exam when I was still sitting at Ohio State in graduate school, and I think I want to say, no, there are 4 parts to the exam besides ethics, and I think I finished 2 of them during my time when I was still a student, and then the rest of them during the summer before I started working. And I actually pushed back my study a little bit so that I can basically study full time during the summer before I start. And my advice would be that if you can start earlier and also try your best if you want to get CPA. Try to finish it before you start working, because once you do, is very, very hard. It's not impossible. I know people who've done it and finished it while working full time, but you know, they will take them 2 years to finish, and it kind of just linger in your head versus, you know, just kind of do it in the couple of months that you can dedicate to it and be done with it right now. So you know, my one advice is start early and then have a study plan. Know that, you know, how much time you're gonna dedicate to it, and then when I did it, I had a daily schedule of like, I want this chapter done this day, and I'm gonna do it by, you know, go through the course preparation, do the multiple choice practices, a lot of practices. And I would just emphasize that if you do want to stay in accounting or pursue accounting career, CPA is very, very important. Like for us now at NVIDIA, it is a requirement in the accounting department that any new hire would have. Well, I wouldn't say that it's requirement, but most of the openings that I've seen, that's require a CPA credentials. So you know, just keep that in mind as if you do pursue accounting.
Thank you. Other alumni, do they want to share some tips for CPA preparation? Other tips? There's another question.
Sorry, I can add real quick. Just right now, I'm working and I'm still studying for the CPA, and I can tell you it's just a lot of work. I'm still working and studying at the same time. So if you can try to get your CPA before you graduate or soon after you graduate, for me, because I'm working in analytics, so the knowledge it's not really related to accounting, so that's why the work is like doubled. So I would advise the students to pursue the CPA as early as possible.
Thank you. Okay. Any other last minute questions?
Evan, there was one question in the chat about scholarships. I
okay.
assume you might take that offline, but there was one more question there.
Yes, absolutely. So scholarships, Augustana College does offer scholarships. We offer merit scholarships. So based on your grades, we do a holistic approach. So we don't just look at your GPA, we take test scores, SAT, ACT. We also look at your English proficiency. That is also a requirement. We take several different English proficiency tests. But international students, when they apply, can qualify for international financial aid as well as merit scholarships on one application. So it is free to apply to Augustana. You can apply through the Augustana website or also through the Common App. And yeah, my biggest piece of advice is make sure that you're listing all of those extra curriculars, make sure you're logging your hours, and really take the time to fill out the application and to really write your resume. And don't just use ChatGPT, because we will know. Make sure it's authentic and that it is your work that you're putting out there. So those are our main scholarship requirements. Yeah, like if you have more questions, reach out. International admissions at augustana.edu. I'm constantly checking it and to help you and to make your way to Augustana. So thank you. Other questions before we wrap it up? Been a really good discussion, a lot of good ideas.
Evan, one final thing for me. I did post in the chat the contact information for both Dr. Delaney and myself. I think it was also on the material that was distributed in advance, but if somebody's looking in the chat, feel free to reach out to us via email. And I'll just close by saying thank you all very much. I wish you the best of luck on your preparation for college search. It's an exciting time. And finally, to our awesome alumni, thank you so much. I echo John's words. You make us so proud. You're the best voice we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Those amazing words. Thank you everyone for coming out today. taking time out of your day to be with us and to share your wisdom, your knowledge, and experience with these prospective students. Okay, so I'm going to end the chat here. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.